Grand Ascension. Hey, greetings everyone. How's everyone doing today? It is Friday, January the 3rd, and I am going to talk about a couple of different things. So you got to bear with me. I always say these lives are going to be short, but I'm going to tell you off the muscle. This one's going to be a long one, okay? So get your favorite beverage, bada bing, bada boom. Grab you a seat, put me on play, drive in traffic, work or clean the house or just relax and fall asleep and listen to my voice. Before we get started on this live, I want to shout out everyone. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Thank you so much for taking the time out to listen to me read to you all. Also want to shout out to my sister. May she rest in peace, love, and power. Tammy, she passed away a couple of years ago, and today is her solar return, where she came into this existence through my mother's portal. And, she has transitioned, as is my mother and my father, but I know they still exist and they still live on. I am sending love and light to those vibratory fields. And I just want to shout her out because she's missed every single day. All right. Every single day. So, before I get started, I wanted to share with you a couple of reads that I got in. I'm going to read something from this book, but I want to show you what I got. It is by Robert Greene, The Laws of Nature, Human Nature. Okay, I already started reading, but I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs, and then we're going to get into the Book of Wisdom. I also picked up this book from Matthew Walker, PhD, Why We Sleep, Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams. Boom. Okay. And The Psychology of Money, Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed, and Happiness, Morgan Housel. Okay. So I got these in. I'm going to try to really make an effort this year to do a lot more. Believe it or not, I'm going to be doing a lot more reading than usual. I'm really going to try to limit my time on TV, other than watching documentaries like Camaro Chief Red Wolf, Drop 432, Original Lone Wolf, or so many other folks that I follow. I'm going to really try to binge watch their content. Camaro has 9 years worth of videos, and I need to start from the very beginning and work my way up. But I've been working my way from the back, from now present all the way back. I reshared a couple of videos and posts over on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube of his live discussing Hitler. And I did some screenshots and I uploaded it over here on Facebook. So please go check it out. You can do your own due diligence. I'm not saying everything I share is 100% correct, right? I find it interesting and I've done the research on it. So that's why I'm resharing it. Now, for those of you who, believe in these holidays, I wanted to share some information with you all first, right? I know we just came off this quote unquote holiday, right? And many people consider this to be January the 3rd, 2026. But I'm here to tell you that they have added 1,000 years to the calendar. You can see that in Arthur Koestler's 13 Tribes. Maybe I'll pull the book down one day and read the section so you guys can see it. Take a screenshot so you can read it from what the quote unquote Zios added. Okay. The Khazarian Mafia, I like to call them the Ashkenazis. They added 1,000 years to the calendar. And so what we have now is we have 12 months. But what they did is they eliminated 1 month and they added 2 months. I know it's very confusing. We started off with 10 months and we went from 10 to 13. Now we're back to 12. Originally, we followed the moon cycles. Now, everybody's going to have different information. I'm just telling you what I've come to understand. Not saying it's all complete 100% factual, but if you do your research, you will see it. So New Year's Day is actually April 1st, everyone. I was born on the 16th, even though my driver's license says the 20th. There's a story behind that. If you see my video, you know. April 1st is actually April Fool's Day. That's why they call it April Fools, because they fooled us all. March 31st is actually New Year's Eve, okay? It's the first month is April, which is War or Aries, which is my sign, okay? The very first sign of the zodiac, all right? March, okay, so it's April, May, June, okay? Then you got the fourth month is called Sol, S-O-L. And then you had Quintilis, which is the fifth month, but they replaced Quintilis with July, which is named after Julius Caesar, which I believe was in 46 BCE. And then you had Augustus Caesar, right? Because Julius was assassinated, right? And Augustus Caesar, they added his name to the calendar. So every time we say August, we're giving credence to Augustus Caesar, which was in 8 BCE. Okay. Before that, it was called Sextilis. Sextilis, Sextillis, Sextilis, which was the name. And then they flipped it to August. And then the 7th month would be September. 8th month, Oct is 8, October. 9, November, Nov is 9. The 10th month is Dec, December. Okay. And the 11th month is January. The 12th month is February, and the 13th month is March. March is at the end, or some would like to say the beginning of the calendar. March 31st is actually New Year's. Okay. We went from I believe it was Pope Gregory the 13th, who flipped the calendar to the Gregorian calendar based on taxes and control. All right. About book of money and about count. That's what the calendar stands for. So they did this to have a better control over the masses and to collect taxes. If you don't know, now you do. Go do the research and you will see it. Again, the actual New Year's is not January 1st. It is actually April 1st. Okay. And also when you look at the lunar cycles, you'll see also, you can look at the Ethiopian calendar. They have a different count. All right. They're stating right now, I think it is 2017 or 2019. I have to go back and look at it again. But I've told you they added 1,000 years. All right. So it's really not even the 2000s. It's actually 1000s. I know how that sounds. If you're a research buff and you like to read a lot, you can go do the research. I'll even send you the links and you can go look the stuff up yourself. Maybe you'll find more interesting information, right? I'm just resharing to you. Everybody is running around here and functioning in this dysfunctional society and none are the wiser. So Pope Gregory flipped it to the Gregorian calendar because of taxes and because of collection of money and more control to disrupt our cycle. All right. And also, like I said, they added leap year. And Augustus added an extra day in the calendar. It was 30 days and he added 31 days. So what you really have is 13 months, 13 lunar cycles. All right. Up in the sky, lunar cycle. We're going to talk about that. And what you have is the 13 months and 13 cycles. And every single month you're able to reset yourself. So that's why I talk about knowing your 12 cell salts. Everybody's deficient in minerals. Now, quote unquote, if you follow the holiday, what I would recommend you guys to do is go do your blood work, get your mineral count checked, get all your levels checked so you know where you're starting at ground zero, right? And I know sometimes health insurance does not pay for all those tests, but I would highly recommend you do it since this is quote unquote, if you want to roll with the new year, like I said, then start off right, right? So again, wrap up this. There's 13 months, 28 days, 364 days. They added 1 day for 365. I'm going to explain to you again. The first of New Year's is April, which is my birth month. April Fool's is actually New Year's Day. That's why they named it April Fool's. So fool everybody. So April's the first month. The second month is May. The third month is June. The fourth month is Sol, S-O-L. The fifth month is Quintilis, which is now called July. The sixth month is Sextilis, which is now called August. September is the seventh month. The 8th month is October. The 9th month is November. The 10th month is December. The 11th month is January. The 12th month is February. And the final year, or the last month of the year is actually March 31st. That is your New Year's. Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, I just want to shout my family out and shout everybody out. I appreciate you joining me. Let me read this one part to you and then we're going to get into, Ezekiel vision of throne of God. All right. So this book, it says, throughout the course of our lives, we inevitably have to deal with a variety of individuals who stir up trouble and make our lives difficult and unpleasant. Some of these individuals are leaders or bosses, and some are colleagues, and some are friends. They can be aggressive or passive aggressive, but they are generally masters at playing our emotions. Y'all know who they are. You got triggers, and people that are around you. We're starting off, quote unquote, this fake holiday, fake New Year's. A lot of people have resolutions around this time. I don't partake in that. I know it's not the New Year's. I'm going to celebrate the New Year's actually on March 31st, 2025, which is actually 1017. All right. I'm going to celebrate New Year's March 31st, which is the true calendar year based on the moon, which is above us. All right. So a lot of people want to start these New Year's resolutions, so I want to read this to you. Let me keep going. They often appear charming and refreshingly confident, these people, brimming with ideas and enthusiasm, and we fall under their spell. Remember the last couple of videos? Hey, Steven, I don't know if you're still watching. Remember the last couple of videos I talked about energy vampires. I talked about women as being portals or gateways and how men are the scepters, how women really, truly are the strength and men are the power. So you've got a lot of people walking around here who are conflicted and confused and are low vibrational people, right? And we work with these people and we deal with these people on a daily basis, whether it be family and friends, okay? Now is the time for you to clean up yourself, right? Prepare yourself, right? So it says, only when it is too late do we discover that their confidence is irrational and their ideas ill-conceived. Among colleagues, they can be those who sabotage our work or careers, our secret envy, careers are of secret envy, excited to bring us down. Or they can be colleagues or hires who reveal to our dismay that they are completely out for themselves, using us as stepping stones. We've all been there, right? If you live long enough, you've experienced this. What inevitably happens in these situations is that we are caught off guard, not expecting such behavior. Often these types will hit us with an elaborate cover story to justify their actions or blame-handed scapegoats. They know how to confuse us and draw us into drama they control. We might protest or become angry, but in the end, we feel rather helpless. The damage is done, right? Then another such type enters our life and the same story repeats itself, okay? We often notice a similar sensation of confusion and helplessness when it comes to ourselves and our own behaviors. For instance, we suddenly say something that offends our boss or colleague or friend. We are not quite sure where it came from, but we are frustrated to find that some anger and tension from within has leaked out in a way that we regret, okay? Perhaps we enthusiastically throw our weight into some project or scheme only to realize it was quite foolish and a terrible waste of time. Or perhaps we fall in love with a person who is precisely the wrong type for us and we know it, but we cannot help ourselves. What has come over us we wonder, okay? In these situations, we catch ourselves falling into self-destructive patterns of behavior that we cannot seem to control. It is as if we harbor a stranger within us, a little demon who operates independently of our willpower and pushes us into doing the wrong things. Well, you have too many minds. As I told you, everything around us has been weaponized and used against us. Once you start to step into this knowledge and knowing and not believing anything, but actually doing your research, fasting, praying, meditation, grounding, breath work, yoga, tai chi, exercise, eliminating certain things from your diet and from your life activities or life, your energetic field, then you'll start to become more in alignment with yourself and with the creator of all, right? But you have to understand you're operating in your lower consciousness or your lower mind. That's why it says you have to take no thought, meet him in the air, rise above the occasion. Everything that I talk about is interconnected, and I hope it makes sense because I try to explain it as though a child could understand it, right? I mean, I'm saying everything I talk about is 100% how do I say? I don't want to say belief because belief is a lack of knowledge and knowing. You have to do your own research and you have to take and use your discernment. You have to pray for discernment, right? You have to ask for it. And when you ask for a thing, and this is where a lot of people get, like I always talk to my son, Jordan. You know, I have 5 sons. And me and Jordan have these long conversations because he's a truck driver. And I talk to him about certain things every single time we talk. And one of the things I tell him is, this is a dream. This is a dream time world. It's a sleepy time world. It really is a dream world. And once you reconnect and do your genealogy, and you go back and you do your genealogy and you find out what tribe you come from, then you start studying the tribal dialect, the tribal lore, the foods and things like that. You start to realign yourself with your true self or true nature or true path, right? Only when you go within and you seek the knowledge from within is when you become, how should you say, Christed, because it's a process. Everybody has to go through this alchemical process within themselves, physically, energetically, astral, and also mental, right? Because like I said, there's 4 bodies. You got to align all 4 bodies, right? And a lot of us are walking around out of balance, self included, because I know I'm not in balance, right? I know that about myself. So what I'm simply telling you is that the more you go within and you seek that inner knowledge and stillness with self and with God, then you start to utilize your discernment and you start to come within your knowing. It's not a belief anymore. It's about knowledge and knowing thereof, right? So you have to understand that we're operating in our lower mind or lower aspect or material form. Okay. That's my point. So it says what we can say about these 2 things: people's ugly actions and our own occasionally surprisingly behavior is that we usually have no clue as to what causes them. Hey, Steph, we might latch onto some simple explanations that that person is evil, a sociopath, or something came over me. I wasn't myself. But such pat descriptions do not lead to any understanding or prevent the same patterns from reoccurring, right? The truth is that we humans, I hate to use the word, but for this video, I'm going to use human live on the surface, reacting emotionally to what people say and what people do. Okay. We form opinions of others and ourselves that are rather simplified, and we settle for the easiest and most convenient story to tell ourselves. Hey, what if, however, we could dive below the surface and see deep within, getting closer to the actual roots of what causes human behavior, right? What if we could understand why some people turn envious and try to sabotage our work, okay? Or why they misplaced confidence causes them to imagine themselves as godlike and infallible. Also, you want to look at the fact that we as ourselves internalize a lot of things and we take on a lot of that, which, and I have to agree with what Chief Red Wolf says. I know a lot of y'all probably haven't seen any of his videos, but I'm going to say this. When you start to take yourself back to a baseline, okay, like I talked about, you take yourself back to a baseline state, you got to understand that you got to clean the cup of muck out. You got to go from all the things that are inside you and empty out everything. You literally have to become an empty vessel. Like it says in scripture, take no thought. And when you start to align yourself and start to do your meditation, I can tell you the very first thing that I had to struggle with is, how should you say, too many minds. I had a lot of voices in my head. Like I was talking and shouting at myself and I wasn't stealing the mind, right? It takes practice for you to shut down your mind. Literally. Like when you first start meditation and you start doing your breath work, you're going to hear yourself really loud in your head and you're going to be thinking about everything else. But what you really need to be focused on is being still and just being in silence and being with the creator of all. Only in darkness will you be able to seek that which is within you, right? I'm just saying, everybody wants to say it's a love and light and God is light. And God is energy, consciousness, and light and source and power all around us, the ether. Yes, but also it is in darkness. It sits in darkness. Darkness was the very beginning. And I mean, it says in the scripture in Amos 5:20, the day of the Lord is darkness. So we need to take ourselves back to that baseline state. So it says, these are the stories that we settle and the easiest and most convenient story we tell ourselves. What if, however, we could dive below the surface and see deep within, getting closer to the actual roots of what causes human behavior? What if we could understand why people turn envious and try to sabotage our work, or why their misplaced confidence causes them to imagine themselves godlike and infallible? What if we could truly fathom why people suddenly behave irrational and reveal a much darker side to their character, or why they are always ready to provide a rationalization for their behavior? Or why we continually turn to leaders who appeal to the worst in us? What if we could look deep inside and judge people's character, avoiding the bad hires and personal relationships that cause us much emotional damage? And you know what? My thing is everyone in this plane of existence has work to do. I'm not above anybody. I never put myself above anyone. And what a lot of people don't come to the awareness of is that the kingdom of heaven is within each one of us, right? We have a personal space, a darkness within us that we need to go into. We are projecting or casting out or emulating things outside of ourselves. And we create this with this powerful index between our ears. We create the reality that we see forth right now. Most people don't understand. This is the dream time state or sleepy time world. This is where we learn how to manifest and how we control and work the energy flow around us. And most people miss that. A lot of people say, oh, that's woo-woo, that's witchcraft, that's this. No, because if you really understand what this place is, then you will come into that understanding. But it takes time for everybody. Not everybody is on that level of awareness, right? There are a lot of people still practicing the same things that they were taught since they were young, and they're comfortable in this perversion and this indoctrination. They don't see anything wrong with this, what I'm saying. All right. And they go through life thinking that this is all there is. And when they quote unquote transition or leave the body or die, then they think they're going to get a reward somewhere else, when in fact, you're just cycling right back into this existence in a different body, different race, different sex, different nationality, and you're learning these things all over again. And that's, I mean, not everybody's going to agree with that, but I'm just simply telling you, if you look at all the religious texts around the world, you start to see the same thing. It's just being said in different ways, right? So a lot of people are walking around emotionally damaged and emotionally unstable, spiritually, astrally, physically, and mentally. Like I said, 4 bodies, you got to align them. And when you start to research and you see this and you say, well, how did things get the way they are? It's because we're projecting it. We're projecting it in this realm. And people have a hard time understanding that and believing that. But I don't need for people to believe. I need people to go research and look it up for themselves. I'm just telling you. I mean, either you see it or you don't. I mean, hey, this, like I said, is a red pill action over here. So you come over here on my page, you're going to learn some things. Now, I'm not saying you're going to agree with everything I say. Here's what you got to do. You got to do your research, right? So this last part, it says, if we really understood the roots of human behavior, it would be much harder for more destructive types to continually get away with their actions. We would not be so easily charmed and mislabeled or misled. We would be able to anticipate their nasty and manipulative maneuvers and see through their cover stories. We would not allow ourselves to get dragged into their dramas, knowing to advance that our interest is what they depend on for their control. We would finally rob them of their power through our ability to look into the depth of their character. Okay. Similarly with ourselves, what if we could look within and see the source of our more troubling emotions and why they drive our behavior, often our own wishes? Okay. What if we could understand why we are so compelled to desire what other people have, or identify so strongly with groups that we feel contempt for, those who are on the outside, right? What if we could find out what causes us to be a lie about who we are, or to inadvertently push people away? There are some people that have a defensive wall up. I'm telling you, this is the age of knowledge and knowing and discovery and learning about who we are as individuals and as a collective consciousness. I'm telling you, everything that we project outwardly and the things we think of, we create this reality. And these beings harness our energy and our power, and they shape it based on the indoctrination and the perception that's given at birth. I'm telling you, it's a very slick game. It's a very slick, when you know it and you see it for what it is, you're like, wow, I can't believe that they're actually doing this and people aren't seeing it. But when you start to talk about it, sometimes you sound a little different, a little controversial. Some people will say you sound crazy. You're blaspheming God. You're saying things that are out of character. And then you have a lot of people who are NPCs or Agent Smiths that try to come out of nowhere and course correct you and shoot you down or subjugate you and make you feel a certain way or label you as a certain thing, right? So I'm just saying, I mean, it's a lot of information out there. And you don't want to get caught up into getting into the weeds of things. You want to get a high level understanding. And if it interests you or a topic interests you, I would say deep dive into it. But know that when you focus your energy on that and your intention on that, you are going to discover things that you would never thought you would. But you also have to have an intention when you go to the creator of all and ask for knowledge and ask for a thing. It will be given to you freely. All right. You just have to understand that when you ask it, you've already been given it. You just have to line with that vibratory field. I hope that makes sense what I'm saying, right? So this last part, it says, being able to understand more clearly the stranger within us would help us to realize that it is not a stranger at all, but very much a part of ourselves, and that we are far more mysterious, complex, and interesting than we have imagined. And with that awareness, we will be able to break the negative patterns in our lives, okay? Stop making excuses for ourselves and gain better control of what we do and what happens to us in our lives, okay? Having such clarity about ourselves and others could change the course of our lives in so many ways. But first, we must clear up a common misconception. We tend to think of our behavior as largely conscious and willed. To imagine that we are not always in control of what we do is frightening thought. But in fact, it is the reality. We are subject to forces from deep within us that drive our behavior and that operate below the level of our awareness. We see the results, our thoughts, our moods, and our actions, but have little consciousness access to what actually moves our emotions and compels us to behave in certain ways. Okay, so I'm going to stop at that because I want to come back later on and read Mastery Over Your Emotional Self and the Law of Irrationality. Okay, I do want to read that. So I'm going to stop right there and I want to shift gears and I want to get back into what we were talking about initially when I talked about how they changed the calendar and how they added 1,000 years. Now, I may come back on at another time and read to you from Arthur Kessler's 13 Tribes and show you how they added 1,000 years in. Okay, maybe do a screenshot or snippet and share with you that section in the book so you can see it for yourself. But just know that everything around us has been manipulated. And so when you're out of balance, you've got to bring yourself back into alignment and balance. And that starts with emptying your cup. Now, what I want to talk to you about is the zodiac and the angles of light. So they say the angles of El, which is they broke it down to 4 seasons, but there's actually 6. So I'm going to say spring, summer, winter, autumn. Okay. And they took it in and we're looking at the zodiac house and we're looking at, the angles of El, which is angels or angles or archangels or archangles. Okay. That's what those names represent. Angels means angles and archangels are archangels or angles, archangels. Okay. Angels are not simply servants of God or spiritual entities carrying our divine tasks. Instead, they represent aspects of our consciousness, all right, deeply connected to the zodiac signs and the influence of astrology, the sun and the moon and the constellations and the stars, right? Each angle symbolizes a different dimension of our inner world, okay? Mirroring the qualities and energies represented by the 12 zodiac signs. There's actually 13. Ophiuchus is the 13th sign, all right, 13th house. These signs are more than celestial markers. They reflect different potentials, characteristics, and expressions within our own psyche, okay? Everything is internal. So we're projecting or looking outwardly because we're in this material form. We're taking in this world with our five senses, but you have to understand it's within us. Everything is internal. Okay. So it says externally, angles can be understood as angles of electromagnetic energy, right? We have millions of magnetite crystals in our brain, and it vibrates and it resonates at a certain frequency. This is why they're spraying the sky with barium, strontium, and aluminum, because we're getting a thick layer of this over us. And when they fire up the cell phone towers, which are now 10G coming into 10G, they're basically going to be frying us from within. Our bodies are 75% water, right? So they're messing with the electromagnetic earth grid energy field, and they're messing with the electromagnetic energy around us and within us. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Not trying to get off topic. I'm just trying to explain to you what is happening. If you go and you look at the research behind microwave food and how the Nazis came up with this invention and what it was used for, you will stop using the microwave with your food. I'm telling you, it changes the molecular structure of your food. It changes the water molecules, okay? And it's heating it up. So that's what they're doing with our bodies, okay? On a short scale, all right? On a massive scale, that's what they're doing. That's why you're seeing a lot of cancers, a lot of toxins in our food and our water supply. Everything has been weaponized against us, you all. You got to understand these things. Not to get off topic, all right? So back to what I was saying. Externally, angles can be understood as angles of electromagnetic energy that radiates from celestial bodies. These energies influence the material world, the five senses, right? Casting a vibration and directional forces from heaven that shape earthly events. The term angle here is significant, indicating that both directional, natural nature of this energy and the capacity of the influence. Within this view, the movements of the planets and stars become a cosmic language, revealing how these celestial energies intertwine with our individual experiences, and our consciousness also plays a factor in our energy vessel. All right. Internally, within our own spiritual landscape, we embody the divine consciousness, where the angels are the zodiac influences that manifest as aspects of our own inner being. Each zodiac sign becomes a unique expression of the divine consciousness, guiding our thoughts, emotions, and our actions. Okay. The angels then are not separate entities, but a reflection of many layers of our soul, both influenced by and influencing the universe. I'm going to hold this up and I'm going to show this. Okay. So everything plays a factor, as above, so below. Okay. If you look at, just like Chief Rebel was saying, you look at the moon, and that's a reflection of what you see here within this dome. This is not a round sphere. And I know people go, oh, she sounds crazy. She's another flat earther. Well, you got to do your research. It's not really a flat plane of existence, and it's not really a spinning ball. It's a structure like this, and it has a dome. I'm just telling you. So let's talk about astrology in the human body. The celestial energies directly manifest the structures and designs of the human body. The astral forces of the 7 classical planets give rise to the 7 states of consciousness known as chakras, okay, which are the major centers of energy within the etheric body, all right? Each chakra corresponds to the influence of one of these planets, shaping the flow of consciousness within us. The 12 zodiac signs, in turn, project their energies throughout the human body, ruling different regions from Aries at the head, which is the crown top, right? And to Pisces, which is at the feet, all right? This cosmic correspondence is why the human body is composed of 12 cell salts, yes, each aligned with one of the zodiac signs. Like I said, we stay in the oven for 9 months in your mother's womb, and when you come out, you are deficient in 3 cell salts. It should be 12 to match the planets. And actually, I need to do a little bit more research because I know that there's a 13th house. So there may be 13 salts. But on the periodic table and what they've shown and what I've researched, I see 12. But I know that there's 13, right? I know there's 13 signs. Most people don't talk about it. But for the sake of this video, we're going to stick with the 12 cell salts, the 12 zodiacal signs, which cross correlate with the 7 chakras of the 7 energy fields within the human body. It's the etheric body we're talking about, right? So it says, these cell salts are essential to our physical form, reflecting the embodiment of the zodiacal energies, both within us and the cosmos around us. The human body is therefore a perfect reflection of the celestial and astral forces, manifesting their energies through every aspect of our being. All right. I'm going to show you this sign. This is the earth energy. Take a screenshot if you have to. Okay. Can't tell if anybody's joined me. I don't think so, but I saw a couple of people duck in. I can't tell if you're watching. So let's just talk about the basics of the moon really quick. All right. So 365 divided by 28 is what? 13. I read to you at the beginning of the beginning of the video, the 13th month. The very first month, again, I got to drill this into y'all head. April 1st is New Year's. That's the first zodiacal house, Aries. Then there is May, June, July, May, June, Sol. They took Sol out, S-O-L. Then they have Quintilis, which is now July. And then they have Sextilis, which is now August because of the 2 Roman emperors. So April, May, June, Sol, Quintilis, Sextilis, September, October, November, December, January, February, New Year's, March 31st. Those are the order. All right. 365 divided by 28 equals 13. 13. 1 plus 3 equals 4. In a lunar year, there are 13 lunar cycles, which corresponds with the houses, right? Each lasting approximately 28 days. However, the solar year spans approximately 364 days. Dividing 364 by 28 reveals that there are actually 13 months or moons in every year. Interesting enough, the calendar commonly used today is the Gregorian calendar, which consists of 12 months. This discrepancy between the natural lunar cycles and the Gregorian calendar may not be coincidental. It's not. I told you it's about control, taxes, and money. It's what it was about. Some speculate that the alteration was intentional, possibly to disrupt the harmony's rhythm between the moon cycle and the various aspects of life, including our bodies and the natural rhythm. It was. I told you everything's been weaponized against us. While celestial bodies may appear physical to the human eyes in the sky, right? They are not truly material in nature. Neither the moon nor any other celestial body is physical, and they cannot be landed on by humans. I know. Y'all gonna have some hard time listening to this. I'm telling you, baby, this is red pill over here. Do I need to say that one more time? It's a reflection of what's in the sky. The reflection of what's in the sky is what you see in this realm. We're not privy to all the lands. We're surrounded by a wall of ice way before the Game of Thrones came out. We were surrounded by a wall of ice since the last reset, since the fall of Tartary. Just want to tell you. So it says, celestial bodies may appear physical to the human eyes, the 5 senses, which we're fooled into because this is what a sleepy dreamtime world. They are not truly material in nature. Neither the moon nor any other celestial body is physical, and they cannot be landed on by humans. Ancients referred to these heavenly bodies as luminaries, because they are entirely luminous in essence. similar to a rainbow. Not bashing on any particular persuasion, sex, color, creed, race, or any kind of sexual desire, but the rainbow that they utilize nowadays is not the rainbow for the LBGT community. No hate there, because I have family members who are that persuasion. They do it in love and respectfully. I have no problem with them. I love my family members. But you got to understand that rainbow symbolizes a covenant. It symbolizes much more than what people want to talk about. But they have to invert everything to keep us in a lower state of consciousness. So these are entirely luminous in essence, similar to a rainbow, which appears to have a form, but is actually entirely luminous. Celestial bodies exist as states of light rather than physical entities. And then you have the waning, the primary, waxing, and the anti-etherical. So you have the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter, and you have the 28-day lunar cycle. I'm going to hold this up, and I want you to take a screenshot. You need to know when your seed drops as to when you do your fasting, when you go into your meditation, when you go into your prayer. It happens every single month, people. Every single month, okay? The esoteric understanding of the moon. And this is the last part, because I don't know how long I've been on here. And I want to make these videos short, but like I said, today we're going to be getting into some things, all right? This is the first reading I've done in a while. So let's get into it. The esoteric understanding of the moon. The phrase as above, so below, as within, so without reflects a profound connection between the inner and outer world. What exists outside of us is a reflection and an emanation of what resides within us. What is without is reflected within. In this context, the moon symbolizes the feminine aspects, okay, of creation, such as the subconscious mind, emotions, and the element of water. Okay. Every single person has to balance their mind, their physical, their astral, and etheric bodies. You have to do an alignment, folks. You have to. There's no way around it. Fasting and grounding and meditation will help you. All right. Breath work will help you. The moon is not only a physical celestial body, but also a manifestation of feminine energy in the universe. In the physical world, we observe that the moon governs the waters of the earth. Its gravitational influences causes the tides of the ocean to rise and fall as water. Being aligned with the feminine energy responds to the moon's movements. You can set water out outside on a full moon and let the moon charge the water and drink it. Speak life and words into the water before you partake in it. And I would highly recommend you use distilled water in a copper vessel and let it charge. You don't want to drink dead water. And 9 times out of 10, we're all drinking dead water. I will do a video on how you talk to your water and how you charge your water and how you make it to where it is much more healthier for your body. Okay. Because whatever you think, you shall become. Key word. What's up here? In the physical world, we observe the moon and it governs the waters of the earth. Its a gravitational influence causes the tides of the ocean to rise and fall as water. Being aligned with feminine energy responds to the moon's movements. The sea levels are magnetically drawn to the moon, demonstrating this natural relationship. Similar, the water within our bodies, 75% water, is influenced by the moon's phases, especially during a full moon. This is why you see all these cryptids coming out. They've always been here. It's just now we're catching them on camera and we're in a different phase or a timeline, if you want to believe in time. All right. In ancient traditions and even today, people often fast during a full moon due to the understanding of the moon's effect on the body's fluids. I'm going to say that one more time. In ancient traditions and even today, people often fast during a full moon due to this understanding of the moon's effect on the body's fluids. The moon governs not only the water on earth, but also the liquids within our bodies. The moon governs not only the water on earth, but also the liquids within our bodies, including all bodily fluids. It represents the negative or the receptive energy of the universe associated with the hidden aspects of ourselves, such as the subconscious mind. From a modern scientific perspective, the sun shines its light upon the moon, which is a symbolic allegory. The conscious mind, symbolized by the sun, which is the male aspect, all right, illuminates and impresses its thoughts upon the subconscious mind, symbolized by the moon. Furthermore, the moon is linked to the astral plane, often referred to as the plane of imagination on the hidden realm of consciousness. The astral plane, like the subconscious mind, is the unseen part of our inner world, which thoughts, emotions, and impressions reside, influencing both our internal and external experiences. In mythology, which is what they like to teach us, is mythology, but it's actually true history. In mythology and ancient stories, we often hear of werewolves transforming or witches easting spells or casting spells, under the full moon. The symbolism represent a deeper truth. The full moon does not only exist in the sky, it is also a reflection of what occurs within us. The full moon corresponds to the subconscious mind, which becomes especially powerful during the phase, manifesting our deepest emotions, feelings, and intention into reality. I told you what this place is. This is a dream time world. It's a sleepy time world, and people don't understand that what you think, you become. You can manifest whatever you want, but you got to do it with intention, and you got to understand there's a process that you go through. Okay. Like I've said before, hey, I can't tell who's joining us. If you die before you die, you will never die. Meaning you have to die to this world. You have to empty your cup. You have to really, literally become an airhead. Like Christ Yeshua says, take no thought. Now I'll tell you, you got to empty your cup. And most people can't get that. It's so simplistic, but they can't see it. Like I tell my son, you can't see the forest because of the trees, or you can't see the nose despite your face. Like my Aunt Stella used to say, my Aunt Queen, my Aunt Alberta, Aunt Mabel, all of them used to say the same thing. They used to have these little crazy sayings, like you will never die with your shoes on, or you ain't got enough sense to come in out the rain. Are you walking or are you riding? I would say some crazy shit. But I was like, why are they saying these allegories? Because they have truth behind the meaning. But you got to understand what it means, right? So it says, here's the part I want to get to. So it is also a reflection of what occurs within us. The full moon corresponds to the subconscious mind, which becomes especially powerful during the phase, manifesting our deeper emotions, feelings, and intentions into reality. Okay. And it says, the simplification of hidden emotions gives rise to the term lunatic. All right. That's where they get it from. A lunatic. All right. The amplification of hidden emotions gives rise to the term lunatic, derived from the Latin word luna, meaning moon. All right. Reflecting the connection between the moon and the mind, the moon and the mood. Let me put it that way. Our moods are a reflection of our subconscious state, which is influenced by the moon's phases, right? And it says, this influence is not just mythical, but observed in real life patterns. It has been documented that during a full moon, there is an increase in emergency calls, all right, heightened crime rates, and unusual behavior. Y'all see a lot of crap going on during the full moon. I ain't even gonna lie. Y'all see a lot of crap. Hold on for a second. I'm getting some stuff coming through on my phone. This is the last part. So it says, the amplification of hidden emotions gives rise to a term lunatic, derived from the Latin word mind, or lunar, which is moon, reflecting the connection between the moon and the mood. Our moods are a reflection of our subconscious state, which is influenced by the moon's phases. This influence is not just mythical, but observed in real-time patterns. It has been documented that during a full moon, there's an increase in emergency calls, heightened crime rates, and unusual behavior. These patterns align with the understanding that the subconscious mind is more active and powerful during this time. So you have more divine feminine energy coming through at a full moon cycle. All right. Just going to tell you, On the other hand, the full moon also offers an opportunity if you know what to do. All right. With the subconscious mind more accessible during this phase, you're more tapped into your feminine aspect, guys and gals. All right. It becomes easier to plan new ideas or intentions. All right. This is why practitioners of spellcasters, magic, and rituals often perform their practices during a full moon because they know the power. They know that. I'm telling you, everything around us has been weaponized. And if you don't know these things, you don't know. And believe me when I say, and not, I mean, belief is a lack of knowledge and knowing. I'm telling you, they know this information and they're using it against us. So this is supposedly the fake 2026, right? All right, we're going to roll with it for this video. So what is everybody doing right now? They're partaking in the spelling. They're casting the spell on themselves because they believe this is really the quote unquote holiday. This is the new year. You know, if you're working, if you're tethered into the matrix, you're tied in, then you know a work day today is January the 3rd on a Friday, and you may have reports and things that you have to be done, emails, deadlines, meetings, that type of thing. Parts, product, you got to get out, certain jobs you've got to perform. I'm just telling you. So you're partaking in the spell casting and you are setting yourself up to what? New Year's resolutions. What's your resolution? Blah, 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 blah. Most people don't stick with it in 30 days because they fall off. They got to understand that you need to base it on the signs in the heavenly bodies, with the heavenly bodies. All right. That's all I'm going to tell you. These people, these beings, these entities that walk among us that look like you and I, but are not a you and I, they're using this against us because our people are destroyed because of a lack of knowledge and knowing. It's not about a belief. It's like you got to know this stuff. And if you fast, you pray, you meditate, you ground, you practice your breath work, these things will start to come in alignment with you. You'll start to understand these things. You ask the creator of all. The creator of all gives knowledge freely. You just got to use your discernment. And you might have to ask for more discernment so that you can see these things clearly. If you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, then you understand what I'm saying. So by using the mental intent and focused energy, all right, let me go back one. On the other hand, the full moon also offers an opportunity. With the subconscious mind more accessible during this phase, it becomes easier to plan new ideas or intentions. This is why practitioners of magic and spell casters and rituals often perform their practice during a full moon. They got everybody walking around here utilizing the Hollywood tree in Hollywood, California. And they're projecting a spell, the north, east, west, and south, which is the news, because you're locked in or tethered into the existence through the matrix. So you're going to believe, which is a lack of knowledge and knowing, what they're broadcasting to you, and you're receiving it and you're taking it in, that information field. All right. So it says, the heightened connection between the conscious and subconscious mind allows for greater influence. And they know this during the full moon. All right. Programming is what? They are taking over the mind. They are feeding the mind with what they want you to know, what they want you to believe, which is a lack of knowledge and knowing because you're looking outside of yourself instead of going within. Case in point, by using mental intent and focused energy, they can impress their desires onto the subconscious, which then manifests into this reality. This is the base. Let's say you in Harry Potter with magic and you're learning how to work this realm. This realm is of magical intention. I know how that sounds. I'm just telling you, whatever you think, you become. What you sow, you reap. And what you put in your mind, you broadcast out. Okay. What you put in your mind, you broadcast out. So if you're constantly putting junk in your mind, what do you think you're articulating? What's coming out of you? It's not the intent that you want. People often wonder why I'm praying, I'm going to church, I'm tithing, I'm doing this and the other, and my life is still crap. Why is it? Is it because of the decisions I made? Is it because of the devil? The devil's doing this, the devil's doing that. I can't catch a break. Well, it's because of your intention. You're sending all these different scrambles out into the ether and you're getting all that back. So you have to focus. You have to have a clean signal, y'all. That's what I'm telling you. Your signal's not clean. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. Like you gotta change the channel on the dial, like the bunny ears. This is your ears up here, the intention right here. This is a magnetite. This is crystals that vibrate. This is the energy field. You're reading everything here. This is your third eye, which is calcified. It's closed. So if it's closed and it's calcified, you're not getting a clean signal. I don't know how to be any plainer than that. And they're utilizing it. It's a weapon that's formed against you, and it's prospering. Like the test says, no weapon shall form against me shall prosper. Well, it's prospering. It's going the opposite direction because a lot of people are still partaking in this spell casting, whether you know it or not. Just saying. By using mental intent and focused energy, they can impress their desires onto the subconscious, which then can manifest into this reality. This is the base form where you learn to use your energy. This place was never supposed to be like this. I'm telling you. We're not supposed to have all these wars, all these killings, all these murders, all these unaliving, child pedophilia, child sex trafficking, the drugs, the addiction, the alcohol, which is a killer of the spirit. I'm just telling you. This was never supposed to be like this. This was a magical place, a magical realm where we're supposed to come and experience life and enjoy the physical atmosphere within these physical avatar bodies. But yet now we're enslaved. We're dumbed down. We're running around, bumping our heads in the dark. We don't know who we are. We've lost our magical power, so to speak. And we've been dumbed down to the lowest existence, and we don't live that much. We don't live very long. And when we come into this knowledge and knowing and awareness, it's almost our time to exit the body. I'm not giving it any energy when I say it. I'm speaking it in love, and I'm sharing this information. It's up to you guys to go do the research. All right. You may not agree with what I'm telling you, but somebody had to hear this today. That's all I'm going to say. So this is the last part. So it says, again, I'm going to say this one more time. By using the mental intent and focus energy, they can impress their desires onto the subconscious, which then again manifests these into reality. You ask for a thing and you don't receive it is because you ask amiss. What does it say? You cannot build your house on sinking soil. The foundation of the house must be on solid ground or rock. A solid ground or cornerstone. I'm just going to say it. So symbols play a crucial role in these rituals because the subconscious mind understands symbols more easily than words. By incorporating symbols into rituals, practitioners can bypass the limitations of the language and communicate directly with the subconscious mind. What do you think they're doing when they're playing music? Back in the 80s, when I was growing up and I was in high school, if you played certain records backwards, you could hear the message within the music. If you played it backwards, they still do that stuff today. They change the frequency from 432 to 440 hertz, which is this disruptor. You need to be at 432. All right. They've done all this intentionally, y'all. It's brilliant. I got to give them a hand clap. They really manifested this place into this hellhole, because we're physically living in hell and people don't even want to accept that. But I digress. I'm just simply saying this is still can be a beautiful place and a beautiful existence. It's just all what you have up here and what you cast out, right? This realm is the magical realm, the mystical realm, where you see all kinds of creatures and all kinds of cryptids, and you can become what you put in your mind in your wildest dreams. You can have what you want if you focus the intention and you manifest it appropriately according to God's divine word, the creator of all, the essence within you, because we are God's incarnate. We are God's made flesh, man. Okay. I don't know how to make it any plainer than that. Symbols play a crucial role in the rituals because the subconscious mind understands symbols more easily than words. When you watch TV, they're broadcasting a spell, north, east, west, and south. It's the news. They're broadcasting that programming, that energy out there, and they're programming your subconscious mind, whether you know it or not. Eat this, drink this, take this. You need this pill for this thing. You need this pill for this thing. You got to wear these clothes. You got to take this vacation. You need to drive this. You need to build this type of house. You need to have this type of savings. You need to have this kind of gold, this kind of copper, this kind of this. Stop the noise. Make it make sense. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I'm just calling it out. For those of you who know, you know. So, this explains why rituals, spells, and other forms of magic often involve symbolic elements, as they are more effective in influencing the hidden aspects of the mind. They're playing with our subconscious mind, you guys, and we're giving it the energy. Okay? They are playing with the subconscious minds. Last part. I know I said I was going to go long. I could go into the moon and the menstrual cycle. Let me do that real quick. Let me get that out of the way. As I mentioned before, the human body is intricately aligned with celestial bodies, as they are not external entities, but deeply connected to and integrated within us. All right. The moon, in particular, governs the waters of the earth and, by extension, all bodily fluids, including those related to the female reproductive system, such as the menstrual cycle. The moon's influence extends beyond tides, ruling over fertility on earth and regulating the eggs of all creatures from insects to humans. In many ways, the moon can be seen as the cosmic womb. In the absence of medical intervention, a woman's body naturally aligns with the lunar cycle, experiencing menstruations approximately every 28 days, mirroring the moon's phase from the new moon to the full moon and back again. This is why they work so hard to poison us. I am sharing a little bit of personal information. I had problems with my menstrual cycle. I had heavy periods and I had a lot of painful periods. I had amenorrhea and I had fibroids. I had tumors. And it's because of the consumption of meat, dairy products, the toxins and poisons in our water. All right. I did not know the things that I know now at 56 years old versus 10 years ago, right? When I had my hysterectomy, right? Or 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when I had my hysterectomy. I'm just telling you. If I knew then what I know now, I would have moved differently, right? So the reason why we have a lot of fibroids, I use a lot of hair dyes, which I stopped doing. And I also use a lot of relaxers, which are known to cause tumors and cancers within melanated women. All right. They have lawsuits for this now, right? I'm just telling you. And so I had to have a partial hysterectomy because I was having a lot of heavy bleeding where I had to go get transfusions, blood transfusions, because I was bleeding that much, right? So I'm telling you that they're utilizing all these things around us, and I was partaking in it and didn't understand what I was doing to my own body because I was not educated in these things. I'm just telling you. So, every 28 days, usually is when you do have your cycle. There's some women that don't have cycles now. All right. And it's because of the toxins and the poisons and the things that they're spraying in the sky and what's in our water. I'm telling you, everything plays a factor. Even this synthetic stuff I have in my head is treated with chemicals. I'm just going to tell you. So when you know these things, you act accordingly, right? When you know better, you do better, and you learn and you grow and you share the information with other people, but you redirect your course. You redirect your path. Just telling you. So every 28 days, mirroring the moon's phases from a new moon to full moon and back again. During the cycle within the ovaries, a delicate process occurs as the egg matures over the course of about 14 days. If fertilization occurs, it marks the beginning of a new life, a new soul, a new entity that comes into the womb. Like I talked to you about us being portals or stargates. You never know what kind of star or entity you're going to bring forth from the gate. Just telling you, we used to have magical, well, I mean, not say magical. We used to have the power to see and see the entity before it came through our womb. So we would know if it was going to be a good energy, a high vibrational being, or if it was going to be the spawn of Satan. And we could take plants and herbs and get rid of the fetus naturally. I'm just telling you, we used to have that knowledge. Now we don't have that knowledge anymore. Some of us don't. I'm just telling you. So what are we dealing with here? We're dealing with a lower vibrational realm right now. And we've got some high vibrational frequencies that are resonating high and trying to wake other energy beings up to vibrate on the same plane of existence. I hope that makes sense. So it says, Within the ovaries, a delicate process occurs as the egg matures over the course of 14 days. If fertilization occurs, it marks the beginning of a new life, with its journey culminating in childbirth 9 lunar months later. However, if fertilization does not happen, the egg is released from the body roughly 14 days after ovulation, in harmony with the moon's gradual waning from its full luminescence to darkness. The menstruation and the moon cycles, I'm going to hold this up and you can see the womb, the moon. You'll see the the menstrual cycle, the follicular, the ovulatory, and the lutea, which is the first quarter, the new moon, the last quarter, and the full moon. I'm going to hold this up. And it says, during a woman's initial menstruation or menarche, it often coincides with a particular phase of the moon cycle, reflecting the deep connection between her body and the rhythm of nature. In the absence of medical intervention or hormonal disruptions, a lot of hormonal disruptions includes soaps, toilet paper. I can't say enough about y'all not using damn regular toilet paper. Y'all need to be on bamboo toilet paper, ladies. You can get brown bamboo toilet paper. If you want to use the white with the lightly bleached, you can do that as well. But I'm telling you, you need to switch your undergarments to bamboo or either 100% cotton or 100% bamboo. And you need to stop using these colognes and perfumes, especially from Bath and Body Works. They have endocrine disruptors in them and they attract non-human entities. That's all I'm going to say. Believe it or not, believe it's a lack of knowledge and knowing. I'm just trying to educate you on some things. But if y'all want to stay stuck and stupid and y'all want to keep participating in the perversion, go right ahead. I'm not for you. I'm only here for a certain few. In the absence of medical intervention or hormone interruptions, her menstrual cycle tends to align with the same lunar phase throughout her life. The alignment reflects a subtle yet powerful synchronization where the onset of each menstrual cycle occurs in harmony with the reappearance of the specific lunar phase that marks her first cycle. Some girls get their periods at 7 and 8 years old. I got my first cycle when I was 9 because of the chemicals that they're putting in the milk. Milk is the worst thing for the human body. I don't care how you feel. Dairy is the worst thing. That's why I have stomach issues now. I cannot partake in milk and eggs and dairy. I still eat eggs, but I limit them how many I eat now. The cheeses, I'm really trying to go to a more vegan option, right? I'm telling you, they are utilizing things against us. And this is why we're having a lot of cancers and a lot of problems with our hormones and our hormones balance. The way to fix it is by fasting. I'm just going to tell you, and going to all fruits and vegetables and growing your own stuff and trying to eliminate as much chemicals as possible. That's toilet paper, underwear, deodorant, lotions, body sprays, makeup. I'm telling you, everything plays a factor. Everything. Here's the symbolism behind the moon. In alchemical artwork, the crescent moon is often depicted prominently. The moon symbolizes the emotional aspect of our being. When this symbol is placed beneath a figure, whether a man or a woman, in alchemical art, it signifies mastery over one's emotions and mind. This is what we have to do to ascend, all right? It represents the ability to control and harness the power of the mind, so the celestial bodies no longer govern us. Instead, the individual gains sovereignty over the heavens, Aries, the ram, temple, the place where God resides, utilizing them to their advantage through the transmutation of the spiritual and intellectual bodies. 4 bodies, alignment. Our emotions often dictate our decision-making process, but through discipline, consistency, and mental willpower, we gain control over them. Achieving this mastery empowers us to no longer be swayed by our emotions, allowing us to manifest our higher selves consistently in all situations. The crescent moon symbol can be represented in a hand gesture formed by folding the middle fingers, okay, inward while extending the index and the pinky. This symbol right here. Okay. And it says, outwardly, you do this outwardly. In contemporary culture, this gesture is often associated with the devil's horns. All right. However, the true essence of the devil's horn lies in the representation of the crescent moon. All right. As mentioned previously, the moon symbolizes our emotional mind. And it's also subconsciously tied to us. All right. It's our subconscious. When we observe this crescent moon symbol positioned above the head, it signifies the dominance of our emotions over the body and the mind. You're in your emotional state. You're feminine. Your feminine energy is taken over. There's a lot of men with a lot of feminine energies because of hormone disruptors. They're growing boobs. I mean, they're taking it up the backside and they're thinking they're women. They're going through this transgender movement. I'm just telling you, everybody's conflicted and confused. Whether you know it or not. It's not a belief. It's either you know it or you not. Or you don't. As mentioned previously, the moon symbolizes our emotional mind. When we observe this crescent moon symbol positioned above the head, it signifies the dominance of the emotions over the mind and body. Okay. It indicates a state wherein an individual operates from their lower carnal mind, the lower aspect, either your right brain or your left brain. I'm gonna tell you. It signifies the dominance of emotions over the mind and body. It indicates a state wherein an individual operates from the lower carnal mind, driven by desires, wants, and even self-destructive thoughts. This is where the addictions take place. It's the lower aspect, the lower mind. In order for you to rise to meet Christ in the air, in order for you to rise to ascension or higher states of consciousness or nirvana, you've got to take no thought. You've got to raise your vibration, raise your thoughts. Kingdom of heaven is within. Surrendering to these negative impulses allows them to govern our actions. You're in the lower aspect. You're in the lower consciousness. You're in the lower mind. You're devolved. You're a demon. Demonstrates that. Surrendering to negative impulses allows them to govern our actions and thoughts, transforming us into the metaphorical devils with the crescent moon symbol above our heads. Emotions controlling the mind. That's what the devil or Satan means. The lower aspect of the mind, your emotions are controlling you. You're not in your God state. You're not in your higher consciousness state. This is a symbol of devil. This is a symbol of the lower aspect of the mind. This is where you're into partaking in the carnal nature of man and woman. This surrounding these negative impulses allows you to govern our actions and thoughts, transforming us into the metaphorical devil with the crescent moon symbol above our heads, emotions controlling our mind. Given that the head contains the brain, which serves as a command center for the body, placing the crescent moon symbol above it symbolizes emotional control, overpowering rational thoughts. The imagery suggests that when emotions reign supreme, everybody's in their emotionals, running around in their emotions, they dictate and control our actions, leading us away from our higher selves. Take a screenshot. That's the devil. That's the horn. That's the serpent. You're in your lower mind. You're in your lower consciousness. You're running off emotions. And women, we are emotional creatures. So if you want to call us Satan's little season or little devils, it's because we're all in our lower state of consciousness. All right. So divine masculine energy is embodied into man, reflecting qualities of force, electrical action, strengths, and fires. Traits, all right, associated with the active and dynamic nature of electricity. He is the initiator, the action taker, the one who drives movement and changes in the world. The masculine essence thrives on purpose, strength, and determination, channeling his energy into creation, protection, and the pursuit of goals. In contrast, the divine feminine energy is characterized by nurturing, rest, magnetism, safety, and emotion. The feminine body represents the beauty of attraction, effortlessly drawing in what she needs. Her blessings of grace, intuition, and inner beauty are magnetic, pulling toward her masculine force that it drawn in, protect, cherish, and provide. She is the guardian of the inner world, the keeper of emotions, intuitions, and deeper connections. But if you're out of balance, you're running around in your emotional state, which a lot of us are. While the masculine looks outward, the feminine looks inward, tending to the emotional and spiritual well-being of both herself and those around her. The divine masculine and feminine are complementary energies designed to be in harmony. What did I say many videos ago? This is the brain. 2 atmospheres. You got to hemisync the brain, the left brain and the right brain, the subconscious and the consciousness, the feminine and the masculine. Everybody's running around out of balance. There are 2 halves of a whole designed to coexist in balance and unity, each complementing each other. In their union, they find the fullest expression of life's potential, creating a harmonious dance between the inner and outer worlds. A lot of people are out of balance. Allowing both partners to grow, thrive, and experience the richness of existence. The balance of energies is essential, not only for the relationship, but also for each individual's personal growth and spiritual fulfillment, as embracing both the masculine and feminine within oneself to a more complete, harmonious, and meaningful life. If your brain is out of balance and you're not completely synced, this is why we have the confusion we have today. Not only between a man thinking that they're a woman and a woman thinking they're a man, the transgenderism, the pushing of AI, which is an artificial God, the manifestation of all of these things that we see around us is because the energy that we're broadcasting out in these domes is not firing on all cylinders. And so this is what we're getting. And these entities are utilizing this electromagnetic energy field that surrounds the brain and is affected by 5G, our cell phones, the dirty energy, the Wi-Fi, the spraying of the heavy metals, the toxins you take in daily with the food and the water. I'm just telling you, they're utilizing it all against us. And I find it fucking fascinating. It's not funny. It really isn't. And you think it's a game, but is it really? We are eternal beings. We are sentient beings, but we've forgotten who we are. And I had to make this video a little bit longer because I wanted to get through this last part. The occult meaning of the 7 planets. Now, I'm going to read this page and we got a lot to go. And I don't know how long we've been on here. I want to get through this part, and then I might shift to the sky clock, and then that might be it. So just bear with me. You have to bookmark this video and come back at a later time. I understand. I get it. But for those of you who are still listening, just rock with me. The planets are not merely physical rocks floating in space. Instead, they are external manifestations of 7 cosmic energies that give rise to everything in this world, including the human body and all that we perceive in the material plane. Lower existence, the matter form, we've devolved, devils, like I just showed you, subconscious mind, the lower aspect, we're in our emotions, guided by the moon, which is the feminine, the subconscious, the divine energy. Just telling you. These celestial bodies are not solid objects you can land on. Rather, they are luminaries, forces, much like a rainbow, pure, radiant expression of energy. In alignment with the ancient principle, as above, so below, the planets exist not only in the heavens, but also within us, different fields of existence. All right. Just as they govern the cosmos, they represent 7 cosmic energies within us. The planets are not distant, lifeless objects. They are living, dynamic forces, both in the universe, within the human experience, shaping all aspects of our existence. The planets represent powerful archetype energies, emotional, creative, and spiritual forces that are loyally intertwined with different aspects of our consciousness. You have to build that temple, and you have to build the temple so the creator of all can meet you within that temple. The being is within the void. You have to go into the void and darkness to ascend and to reconnect with the All Father, the creator of all, source, energy, what many call God. All right. And it says, these energies reflect in our thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and the circumstances we encounter throughout life. Each planetary force resides within us. Each planetary force resides within us, manifesting uniquely, shaping both our internal landscape and the external conditions we face. As these cosmic energies interact, they influence and direct the flow of our life experiences, translating their symbolic vibration into concrete events, opportunities, and challenges in the physical world. We manifest what we want. We create what we want. I don't know how some more simplistic that I can say of that. We're like, well, I grew up in poverty. I'm poor. I'm this, I'm that. Our family's been on welfare, generational curses. My brother got a drug addiction. I got an alcoholic addiction. I've got 20 kids by 20 different women. I'm just telling you, we create that. We create that. We are powerful beings. And this is why the world is the way that it is. You have to master yourself. You have to change yourself in order to change the world around you. I can't be any plainer than that. So listen up. In this way, the planets act as channels, bridging the subtle spiritual, emotional realms with our live reality or lived reality, making the unseen forces of the universal tangible in all daily existences. Solar energy is externally, the sun is the vital force that governs life on the physical plane. All right. This is why they spray the skies and block out the sun, because we need it for our pineal glands, and it's how we charge our energy bodies. You need at least an hour of sunlight every day. You got to charge your inner body. All right. We need it for the physical body. Yes. But we need it also for the energetic field, the etheric body. All right. You need it. And that's why they're trying so desperately to keep us from accessing that power, which is within us. Externally, the sun is a vital force that governs life on the physical plane. Everything in the world feeds off of the life-giving electromagnetic energy and light. Plants, the birds, the bees, the trees, the grass. It fuels growth, nature's life, nurtures life, and brings vitality to everything it touches. The sun's rays are the very essence of the physical sustenance, allowing all forms of life to flourish and express themselves. Internally, the sun represents our soul. Told you they took soul out of the calendar. All right. I told you guys that at the beginning of the video. Soul, S-O-L, is the 4th month in the lunar calendar. All right. Out of the 13 months. We don't even have that in our, nobody knows about that. I mean, if I told you, some of y'all probably know, but the majority of people who see the video ain't going to know anything about the month of soul. All right. Internally, the sun represents our soul, the radiant consciousness that resides within the heart. Just as the external sun breathes life into the material world, the internal sun animates the body, infusing with desire, passion, willpower, and drive. This inner sun is the force that fuels our actions and propel us towards our goals. It is the central spark of our being. Okay. The source of life that empowers us to create, to strive, and to achieve. The external sun governs the world outside of us, while the inner sun governs the universe within, igniting the fire of purpose and ambition. All right. Here's the meaning of the 7 planets, the Saturn energy. It's what you need to know. The Saturnalia, Saturn worship. Saturn is the external material plane, which is what we live in, all right? Govern the foundation and enduring aspects of existence, such as the roots of plants, the bones in our bodies, and even the insects that dwell beneath the ground. It represents the dull, hard, and unyielding forces of life, symbolizing structural limitations and conditioning. Under Saturn's influence, things become rigid, what we're dealing with right now, bound by restrictions and boundaries. In Roman mythology, Saturn is revered as the god of time, if you want to buy for that illusion. Time is an illusion. I tell you that it is, but you probably will have that lack of knowledge and understanding. So you're going to say, oh no, it's this time is this time. It's because we've been conditioned to believe it, right? Ruling over cycles of beginnings and ending, this connection with time emphasizes Saturn's role in marking the passage of life, aging, and the inevitable constraints we all face. Internally, Saturn embodies the condition within our consciousness. When the Saturn aspect of our consciousness dominates, we become overly rigid, fixated, and restricted in our thinking and actions, which is like 99% of the population. For example, Saturn's influence is strongly felt in today's world, which many people's minds are confined to societal norms, like everybody celebrating New Year's and Christmas, and conditioning responses, because you're conditioned into this indoctrination. So you're going to fall in line with what you've been given. All right. The persuasive control of Saturn energy can lead to a sense of limitation as people become trapped within the structures imposed by society. I'm telling you, they're broadcasting the spell. North, east, west, and south is the news, is programming the mind, containing the mind, conditioning the mind to keep you focused, looking outwardly instead of going within. I'm going to keep saying it until the breath leaves my body. You got to get this. However, Saturn also serves as a great teacher, guiding us through difficult life lessons that ultimately lead to growth and expansion. So if you're going through some difficulty in your life, you need to understand that this was made, this had to come about for you to grow. Either you're going to rise above the occasion and learn from the life lessons and deal with it, or you're going to let it shatter you and you're going to stay stuck in a low vibratory field. 99% of the population, well, I ain't going to say 99%. I'm going to say 60% of the population stays stuck because they can't get it. 40% will rise above the occasion and get it, but only out of that 40%, maybe 20 of them really understand the growth process. And out of that 20%, you may have another 8% that actually follow through and become enlightened or Christed. And I might be generous with these numbers. It may be less than that. So it says, yet in modern age, the energy has overpowered the minds of the masses, fostering excessive rigidity and limitations. Instead of being ruled by Saturn's constraints, we should seek to embrace more freedom, love, and joy, balancing Saturn's lessons with openness and fluidity in our lives. All right, I'm going to shift to this and talk about the occult. I'm going to talk about the significance of Saturn because y'all need to hear this. All right. New York has a block. Mecca is a black block or black rock. Denmark has a black rock, and Hamburg has a black rock. Take a picture of this. The black cube is a significant symbolic structure found in major cities around the world and is no coincidence. Okay. In New York, for instance, the black cube is situated in Times Square, a name symbolically connected to Saturn, the god of time and limitation. Time is inherently a constraint, and the square alludes to the cube, which symbolizes physical matter and its limitations. Okay. The cube, being the most restricted shape in geometry, represents movement in 6 directions: up, down, left, right, forward, and backward, defining our physical existence. The color black in the context symbolizes matter, dullness, dominance, and hardness. Together, the black cube embodies the restrictions of the material world, reflecting Saturn's influences. The symbolism is echoed in the black cube of Mecca, known as the Kaaba, which also represents Saturn, whether people recognize it or not. Like Saturn, religion can serve as a form of conditioning and limiting the mind by externalizing the concepts of God. Externalizing, external, pushing God out when God is within. All right. While religion often promotes belief in a distant external deity, the truth is humanity is an extension of the divine consciousness. God resides within us. God resides within us. God resides within us. God resides within us. And we all are interconnected of aspects of consciousness. However, religious dogma and doctrine and rules condition people, Christian, Judaism, Islam, Taoism, religion, doctrines, rules condition people to obey and fear an external authority, mirroring the constraints represented by the black cube. Saturn's energy also manifests in societal structures such as government, which enforces limitations through laws and systems designed to keep individuals in control. Restricted state of consciousness, like they changed the calendar for taxes and control. The Pope did. For example, the educational system conditions individuals. The education system conditions individuals to become workers, not thinkers, but doers, tethering them to a material concerns and lower states of awareness, material aspects, money, car, house, bills, things you buy to fill up your house, a cube, a box, a square. This is why Saturnic symbolism is prevalent in cities and institutions of authority. Police uniforms are typically black and judges often don black robes. Saturn worship. Black robes, judges. Both signifying Saturn's control. Even in graduation ceremonies, the black robe or whatever color robe and the square caps known as the mortarboards symbolize the cube, representing the mental conditioning imposed by Saturn with your degrees, whether you have a doctorate, whether you have a CPA, whether you have a bachelor's degree, a high school diploma is a degree. You go through these degrees in the level of life, the 33 Masons, the 33 degrees. Jesus died 33 vertebra. Telling you, I could go deep. Known as these mortarboards, which you put on top of your head when you graduate, symbolizes a cube representing the mental conditioning imposed by Saturn. And since the black cube serves as a powerful symbol of the force that conditions and limits our consciousness, both physically and mentally, you limit yourself. It reflects Saturn's role in shaping the material plane, the material aspects, the material and societal structures that govern human life, reminding us of the constraints we must transcend to reconnect with our true limitless nature. Black robe of Saturn, the cube, the mortarboard, the graduation cap symbolizes the dominance of matter over spirit, representing the conditioning imposed by the satanic energy. The color black symbolizes dominance, masculinity, matter enforcement, and limitations of attributes of the Saturn energy. While Saturn is not inherently evil, okay, which is devolve or devil, it represents the concept of limitation, which can be beneficial for learning and growth. This is why Saturn is often referred to as the great teacher in astrology. However, conditioning and limiting energy associated with Saturn has become unbalanced in today's world, leading a restriction that hinders rather the help or development. Here's a picture. Black robe of Saturn, the mortarboard, the graduating, the conditioning of the mind, the limitation, the different degrees that you get is a restriction of consciousness. All right. I'm just going to tell you. And the cube represents Saturn is said to have a hexagon as its north pole and symbol rich in esoteric meaning. Whether or not in existence is essentially symbolism is proven in symbolism, a hexagon can be seen as a cube when there are additional lines are added. The cube represents the physical plane where all infinite mind is bound by the limitations of time and space and matter, governed by the symbols of the physical laws. The cube, with its 6 sides, up, down, left, right, forward, and backward, symbolizes the third dimension of physical matter. Saturn, in this context, embodies the restriction of the material world, okay, including time and space. Our spirit, through infinite in nature, is confined within the body. These are vessels that we contain our spirit form, all right? Our energy vessel. Okay, it's contained within the body and in our consciousness, limited by these dimensions, all right? This is why Saturn is referred to as the god of time, as time itself is one of the most fundamental limitations of physical existence. The body is limited to 6 directions, up, down, left, right, forward, and backward, bound by the constraints of the physical plane, which is governed by Saturn, all right? Saturday, Saturnalia, Sabbath, Saturn. So I'm trying to tell you, these limitations represented by the cube define how we move and exist within time and space and matter. However, the mind operates outside these restrictions. It does. Unlike the body, which is confined to a present moment and physical dimensions, the mind is infinite and can transcend the boundaries of time and space. The mind can move freely forward and back in time, imagining the past or projecting into the future. It is not bound by physical laws like matter or time, allowing it to explore realities beyond what the body can experience. Our consciousness may be hexed within the body, the physical body, symbolized by the cube, but the mind has the ability to break free of these constraints. By expanding our awareness, we can transcend the limitation imposed by the physical body and expound the timeless and boundaries nature of consciousness. Take a picture of this. And that's the body and that's the cube. You see it? This is the last part. In the modern world, Saturn energy appears to be dominant, as so many people are mentally and spiritually confined to limiting belief systems. This is it. I'm wrapping it up. Especially those shaped by modern education and materialistic perspectives. Most people today are conditioned to believe solely in the physical aspects of their existence, dismissing anything beyond what can be observed and measured. The prevailing worldview suggests that if something cannot be seen or quantified, it simply does not exist. However, this is a misunderstanding of the deeper truths. Saturn hasn't gained control of our consciousness, but rather it represents the aspect of consciousness bound by material limitations and rigid thinking. You are what you think. If you believe it, so that ye shall become. As above, so below. You broadcast out what you want to receive in. And if you surround yourself by low vibrational beings and you're on the lower vibrational plane of thinking in your lower brain, your reptilian brain, you haven't synced both of the hemispheres of your brain. You haven't. You got to clean the brain. And a lot of things cross the blood-brain barrier. This is why it's so important to do a parasite cleanse, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm getting ready to take this black walnut, wormwood, clove bud, pumpkin seed, and artichoke. And then I'm going to take some Aletiflora and some oxy powder. And I'm going to cleanse myself. Parasites, I'm going to be on a 2-week fast or 2-week cleanse. All right. That's what I'm working on right now. While I'm on camera, let me pop this open. Let me go ahead and take my first set. And then I'm going to be on 2 weeks of that. 2 weeks off, and then I'm going to start my next cleanse, which will be oregano oil and black seed oil. That's another cleanse. And then I'm going to use charcoal as a binder, even though it says that you don't need to have a binder with oregano and black seed oil, that it actually encompasses everything and it actually removes the adult larvae and also gets rid of the eggs. I'm still going to use a binder, but when you use a binder, you got to be careful with that because when you use these binders, it depletes your minerals. So I am getting ready to go get another blood draw done so I can see what minerals I'm low in. Because like I said, you have 12 salts. You're deficient in 3 because you stayed in your mother's womb for 9. So I'm getting ready to go get mine done again so I know my levels, right? After I come off this fast, this parasite fast. Okay, parasite cleanse. Let me put it that way, not fast, but parasite cleanse. So I'm going to take 2 of these, shake up my vitamin, my Vita Cocoa water and my regular spring water here. Yep. And let me pop these in. Yep, I'm doing a damn thing. So I hope this has been beneficial. I guess I've been on here about 1.5 hours, 2 hours. I'm not sure. I appreciate you guys spending time with me. I will be back again to do another reading over The Murder of Reality, Hidden Symbolism of the Dragon, Flying Serpents and Dragons. And we have to finish up the last 2 chapters in Guy Anderson's Tesla, Rise of the Clones, Tesla and the Cabbage Patch Babies, which I know I should be getting that book hopefully next week sometime. So I'll be doing an unboxing over that. So I will be back to do 2 more videos, and I may even try to incorporate mastering your emotional self somewhere in between those videos, right? So I'm sorry I'm making these long. I'm really trying to condense a lot of information into a video, and it can be very difficult to stop. And as you saw, I kept reading and reading and reading. But I hope this has been beneficial to you all. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Remember what I always say, you be the change you want to see all around this earthdom, because it's up to you and I to make that change. I will talk to you guys soon. And thank you all, Stephanie, Musa, Cozy, and Stephen, for joining me. I know about 5 people ducked into the live. I can't see if anybody's still on here with me, but I appreciate you guys taking the time out to let me come into your homes, your cars, wherever you are, and to spend some time with you all. I'll talk to you guys soon. You guys have an amazing day. Bye.